What's up, marketing maniacs, and welcome back to another episode of From Startup to Wunderbrand, your ultimate BFF in the wide world of digital marketing. Join me, your host, Nicholas Kuhne, spilling the beans on the juiciest trends and hottest tips to up your marketing game. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the From Startup to Wunderbrand podcast with your host, Nicholas Kuhne. And today I'm super excited, as usual, to have a wonderful guest. And today we've got Marilyn Jenkins. And Marilyn is a specialist in a field that I particularly love, which is the Google business profile. So we're going to talk a bit about that today. But let's just go into a tiny bit of background about Marilyn. So she's the founder of MJ Media Group and the Law Marketing Zone, and has worked for, I won't say how many years, but quite a few years in marketing. So she's got some good years behind her in terms of marketing. And expertise is in leveraging paid advertising and SEO, especially for optimizing Google business profiles. But the reason we've got her here today, she's got a fantastic new book for those of you hoping or trying to figure out, how do you get your business to rank? How do you get people to call? How do you get people to find out about your business without having to break the bank with SEO and all sorts of other funny business? So, Marilyn, what a treat to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. It's an honor. I love your podcast, so I'm excited to be on it.
Groovy. So, whereabouts in the world are you, Marilyn?
I work out of Houston, Texas.
Okay, great. So the weather probably slightly different to what we have here in Oslo, which is a nice 2 degrees. I don't know what that is in American numbers, but that's relatively cold.
Yes, it's very cold.
So let's get down to, I want to find out a little bit about you first. And when you were growing up, did you think that you were going to be an author? And did you think that you were going to be a specialist in SEO and Google, basically?
Well, no. I've always been very technically inclined. I would say a geek as a kid, but yeah, I knew I'd always be involved in technology. So yeah, but being able to help people with their technology in a marketing sense really plays to my strength. So, but being a published author, no, that's a new one as well. But I just felt like it had to be put out there for people.
So let's talk about why you felt this was so important that you actually had to write a book, because you've joined one of a very elite circle of people who have written marketing books and, particularly books on Google. So what was the main reason that spurred you on to write this book?
Well, like you said, I focus on paid ads for helping businesses grow because it's a faster ROI than SEO. And SEO, being search engine optimization, takes a long time. And I've found that a lot of people that come to me that need help with their marketing are not yet in the position of doing paid ads, but they also don't realize the value of their Google business profile and how much it can help you in the local searches. I mean, it used to be Google My Business and it had very few features to it. And people just got used to storing their reviews there, but nothing else. So that's really been, it's a game changer when they rebranded the Google business profile. It added so many features to it. And then recently Google announced that they're canceling all the websites on Google, but that was on Google One, which used to be their try at being a social media platform that failed miserably, but people built websites on it anyway. So now there's a confusion of, well, aren't they canceling my Google business profile? Different, completely different. And it's super important to know the difference. But I wrote the book as a step-by-step of how to get it, verify it, claim it, and maximize it, because it is so important to be found in that map pack. 60 to 80% of people that do a search on Google choose someone in the map pack. If you're not the top 3, you're not getting that business.
I mean, I can say for myself that if you're not on that first third of the page, if you don't show up, especially on mobile, where I don't know anyone who's ever gone to the second page on a mobile browser for Google. You typically go for the first ones. Obviously, in the past, we used to joke about, if you want to hide something, you put it on Google Plus, which was, as you mentioned, their previous attempt at social media.
Exactly.
But let's just break down again why the Google business profile is useful and what type of businesses should use a Google business profile. Is it for just for pizzerias, or is this also for businesses and folks who have got a service business?
Anyone with a physical address. Absolutely, that's the most important. If you have a physical address and you don't want to publish it, you still need it. You're not going to get the valuable ranking as much or as much weight in the rankings if you don't publish your address. Think of it as, I'm not sure if you have in Norway, the yellow pages was our big thing in the States, right? Every business had at least a little listing and you paid more to get a bigger listing, right? So it's almost like Google globally took a yellow pages type thing and imported it in and made everybody that was a business a Google business profile. So you can do a new one, that sort of thing. So what you would do is you go to Google and you type in your business name and see if it comes up and claim it. So Google proves that you're a person by mailing, or a real business by mailing a postcard, or there's other verification methods to prove that's you. Now, the flip side of that is your competition could claim it if you don't. So now you've given them a leg up on you, right? So what you want to do is they are looking at the people that put as much information as possible. They build it out, whether say your address, the building has a name. That's even an additional line on your address. So choose the category, fill it out completely, and then once or twice a week, go in and add something to it. Add a photo, add a question and answer, add a video, or, respond to a review. Any of those things to show Google you're engaging. So as you're engaging, you could possibly rank higher than someone with more reviews in that map pack if you are engaging and your competition isn't.
Yeah, what I've noticed with a lot of social media is that people will start up an Instagram account, a Facebook account, a LinkedIn account, and a Google business profile, but won't update it, or maybe they're updated once a year, etc. I think if you're going to have a social media channel open, you've got to keep it regular and you've got to keep it up to date, exactly as you've mentioned. And I've seen a lot of folks, they set up their Google business profile and then they just leave it. How
Right.
important, again, just to reiterate, is it to make sure that you are updating your profile? And what kind of things can you add on this profile now? Because I understand there are a couple of new aspects to it that they've recently added.
There are things like blog posts, and it's called Google Business Profile Posts. So one of the things that we do for our clients that we handle this for is we put a human written article once a week up there. And it talks more about, the cities that you're in and this sort of thing. And because anything within 10 to 15 miles, Google finds you relevant. But yeah, if you just fill it out and you never do anything else, you're not going to get the extra juice as it is with when it comes to those rankings. When someone searches and your suggestion was pizzeria, Oslo, and, obviously Oslo is a big city, they're going to look at closer by you and that will show up. But if you and the pizzeria down the street, they've been doing a lot more updates, they're going to come before you, even if you have more reviews, because they're more engaged, right?
And
So you can add photos, you can add videos, but questions and answers are also one of the biggest things that you can do. So we all have, say, the standard 5 questions that every customer asks about your service, right? So once a week, add that question and an answer. Now, next week, add another one. Add videos. It's just like having your own, if you will, social media site that has the equivalent of a website, but it has so
I
much
mean,
more power.
I would rather spend time and effort on my Google business profile than on a Facebook page, to be honest, if I was in a service business. Because if people are, well, I suppose it depends where on the customer journey they are, if it's just about awareness or if they're ready to buy. So if they're
Mhm.
ready to buy, you better have everything on that page. Your telephone number should be up to date. Your address should be correct. Your latest specials and offers, etc., should be up
Exactly. I
to
mean,
date.
exactly. There's products and services, update those as they come in seasonally, if that's a thing. Your hours of operation, always make sure that's up to date. I had a client that was like, our sales have dropped on Tuesdays. There's just nothing going on. We don't understand what the problem is. Well, for some reason, one of their techs went in and said they were closed on Tuesday. So anyone searching for them on Tuesday, they just didn't go because it says you're closed. It's like, but we're not closed on Tuesday. So as soon as they fixed that in the next week, the foot traffic came back. So it's really quite important to make sure your data is up to date, and especially if you're in a region that has like a month or two of holidays, Keep your hours up to date because during holiday times, people are still shopping.
You talk about keeping your data up to date. I've seen challenges sometimes where folks have different information on their website and different information on their their Google business profile. With you doing this professionally, how do you integrate the SEO on your website or the schema on your website with your your Google business profile?
They have to be identical. So it's like when we talk about citations are merely what we used to call old school backlinks, only they're more important because they're from better places. It's not just any old blog out there that you're putting a backlink on, which used to be everybody sold links on their blog, right? Now these are links to directories, business directories. So Google pulls from those to get weight in a score. So you want to make sure your name, address, and phone number, we call that the NAP, is exactly the same everywhere you list it. And having it on your phone, on your website should be, your website's connected to your Google business profile. Those should be identical. And I mean, if you spell the word sweet out in your address, it needs to be spelled out everywhere. If you make it STE, it needs to be STE everywhere. They need to be identical. Google, remember, everything they're doing, the algorithm is electronic. They don't have someone
Yeah.
sitting here going, oh, it says sweet, and that means STE, so those are the same. Data is data.
Yeah. I think this is where getting the professionals involved is quite useful as well. Because, I mean, these things, it's relatively simple to set it up, but the maintenance and making sure that you get these little nuances is obviously where folks like yourself come in. Now, there are three cool aspects to this book that you have written. One is it's talking about how to claim, number one, your Google business profile. Secondly, it goes into optimizing your Google business profile and then maximizing. And I'm going to leave that claiming side because that's something folks can look at themselves or read in the book. The optimizing is obviously the important thing. Let's talk about, you've done all the basics right. You've claimed your profile. What are some maximizing tips and tricks that you could potentially highlight for us?
So maximizing is, and people say, oh my God, I don't have time for that. If you have 10 minutes a week, you do. While you're at work, especially if you have, say again, the pizzeria and you've got a delivery scooter, or you've got, you're a plumbing or anything, you've got a truck or a sign out front or anything that you produce a product, take pictures of it. Once a week, upload a photo, right? If you've got a new menu item, if you're a bakery and you just did a birthday cake, take a picture of it, put it up as a product or a service. Find something you can do once a week. And also the big thing that a lot of people don't do is respond professionally to every review, good or bad. So when people go through and they're scrolling reviews, if you've got, 20 good ones and 2 bad ones, that's not a big difference when it comes to the end star review, the total star average. However, when people are looking at your reviews and they see that bad one, and it just means it may seem like they're just having a bad day, you still need to reply to it. It could be that, I'm sorry, Nick, I never saw you in the restaurant. I'm not, or, we're sorry you had this, whatever, a professional response. And people will see that you are a caring business owner. You're the type of person they want to do business with. So when I tell my clients we're talking about maximizing their Google business profile, it's adding something at least once a week, ideally twice a week. You need to think about it as way more important than your Facebook and Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
Facebook and Instagram, people are scrolling just to, it's called the death scroll. They're just going in there for entertainment. On Google, they're searching for something. People don't go to Google for social media. They go to Google to answer questions. Right. And so you want to be the answer to those questions. If someone is asking a question or looking for something near me, you want to be that person. Or you want to be that business.
So you're talking about intent, and intent, like you say, when people go onto Google, they're in that final stage, they're ready to shop. And if everything is not perfect on your side, or if you're not making it as easy as possible for them to buy your product or get your service, you're going to lose a customer. Now,
Exactly.
having said that, we've spoken about Google business profiles and how useful they are. Can you give me an example, perhaps, of a client or two of yours who perhaps didn't have a profile or weren't doing some of these tips that you're doing, and the difference it made once they actually followed through with some of the guidelines from your book or your service?
Absolutely. I had a client in Florida that she reached out to me and she's like, my phone's literally stopped ringing 2 weeks ago. And she goes, I was busy. My phone was always ringing and I don't know what happened. So we started digging in. Okay. She had a website update, but not a Google Business Profile update to match that data. So we looked line by line. Okay, this is what's different. Updated that. And within 48 hours, her phones were ringing again. It's that important. When there's a disconnect between the most important is like the phone number you have listed on your Google Business Profile and what you have on your website, any of those types of things, something changed, made a problem. And as soon as we got those two connected again, they were exactly the same on the Google Business Profile. She started getting calls again.
It's basically leaving cash money on the table if you don't put your details up. Now, I was thinking, oh goodness, my video is not working, but I realize it's the screen behind me. I've been stressing myself out thinking, can
I
you
saw
see me?
that.
So
I saw that
it's
going, and I'm like, I'm not
it's
sure
the
what that is.
it's the spinning wheel of death. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this bad boy off quickly because that is bothering me. I'm sure it is. Oh dear. Okay. If you don't have your Google Business Profile up, you're leaving money on the table basically. So I
Right.
think that's a very important aspect. It's super simple to set up, but your book is going to take folks through step by step how to do it. Not a dummy's guide, but basically a dummy's guide in terms of how to set up the Google Business Profile, some of the tips and tricks, and a couple of interesting additional tips that folks might not necessarily know about the Google Business Profile. I hear you've got something special for our listeners though as well.
I do. So, like I said, the book is at maximizeyourgbp.com. And for your listeners, I have a special coupon and they get the book for only $5 today. And the coupon code is the number 5 startup. So they can
So
get the book for $5 and get started.
So I'm going to put that in the description. So, and all the links will be there for folks to go and listen to that. Now, before I let you go, what is something folks might be interested to know about you that is not widely known or was not on your Google Business Profile?
Oh my gosh. I love traveling. I love to travel. I've done quite a bit of traveling. I've yet to get to Norway, but I do love to travel. I worked with a lot of different types of businesses, and I really enjoy helping people build their business and getting to the point where their business is just their dream.
Awesome. Is there anything I've left out about Google Business Profiles that we should leave with our customers before we end off?
The most important thing that I repeat over and over is if you have not claimed it, you must do that now, even if you do nothing more to it, because your competition can claim it and take it over. So it's super important.
Yeah, especially in the competitive fields that a lot of the businesses are in, like hairdressers, pizzerias, any service-based business. Get your Google Business Profile. Make sure all of those details are up and running, and make sure that you update the page once a week. It's cash money that you're leaving on the table if you don't do it. So, Marilyn,
Exactly.
thank you so much for giving us some of these insights, and I hope as many of you as possible take advantage of that amazing coupon for $5 to get this book from Marilyn and start you on your journey to get those phones ringing off the hook.
Thank you so much, Nicholas. I appreciate your time. It's been a lot of fun.
Great. I was just thinking, off the hook, that's for the younger listeners. You don't have hooks on your phone. Basically, it just means that your phone is going to be ringing and vibrating a lot in your pocket. So I thought I may as well put that out there. Thanks, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Now, before we wrap up, don't forget to show some love for From Startup to Wunderbrand by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. If you'd like to help us grow, tell your friends, share on social media, and leave us a review. For those of you who want to dive a little bit deeper into the topic, join me on Twitter at Nick Kuhne. Let's connect and chat about all things branding and digital. Until next time,